I'm Charly and welcome to another episode of Book Talk. Today we're going to be discussing If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. So I thought I would do a review of this one basically because I haven't seen a lot of people read this. I've seen some people haul it, but no one has really raved about it, and I think it was an amazing book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's really short, so I'm going to give you a reason to read it, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'll put a little spoil section at the end for those of you who have read it. And let's get started. So If You Find Me is a contemporary novel, and Goodreads says that it's a young adult novel, but the thing is, it has some really confronting themes in it, so I almost feel like it should be an adult novel, but not really. Like with the writing style, it's young adult, but then with the actual concept behind it, it's really mature kind of book. So if you're looking for a light read, I would not go for this one, because it is quite a heavy read. So basically, If You Find Me is about two girls, Kerry and her sister Janessa, also known as Nessa. The story is told from Kerry's point of view, and she is 14 or 15 years old, and her sister Janessa is about 6 years old. And basically their mum is a meth addict, and she takes them into the woods when they're really young, before Janessa is even born, I believe, and basically, it's a survival kind of story at the beginning of them living in the woods, and then their mum leaves for long periods of time to go into town to get food and supplies, and this particular time it's been almost 2 months since her mum's been gone, and then someone finds the two girls in the woods and they take them back to their dad/stepdad's house. It's Kerry's dad, Janessa's stepdad. They take him to his house with his wife and daughter, and his daughter's name is Delaney. So we're basically exploring how they adjust to this new world, because they have lived in the woods for, like, Janessa for her whole life and Kerry for 10 years, I think, and it's basically them adjusting to the modern day world. There is also this secret that is called Kerry refers to it as the White Star Night, and the whole novel you don't know what that is at all. It just comes up in Kerry's thoughts, but you never find out what it is until the very end, so I'm not going to tell you what it is, obviously, but yeah, you're left guessing what it is. It sounds really horrible, the way she describes it, and also Janessa doesn't talk. So the little sister, Nessa, she doesn't speak at all. She's silent, and it's because of this White Star Night, which you don't know what it is, and you really want to know what happened on this White Star Night that was so bad that Janessa doesn't even speak anymore. So I'm going to get in and talk about some of the characters. The characters in this book are amazing. It's such a short book. It is about 300 pages long. It's just under 300 pages. I think it was like 290, yeah. And the characters are so distinct from each other, and they have their own personalities, and there's layers to them, and there's so much character development, especially in the characters of Kerry and Delaney. That's the two that I think develop the most, as well as kind of Janessa, but mostly Kerry and Delaney, which is the dad's daughter. So Delaney is Kerry's dad's daughter, and when Kerry and Janessa move in, she's really against Kerry. She hates her. She thinks she's taking over her life. But then as the story progresses, you kind of see why she's so against Kerry and why she dislikes her so much. And I can really empathize with her, and you can see why she acts the way she does towards Kerry. Even though it's not right the way she does act, she does make up for it a lot, and I love that character development that was there. Also the character of Ryan, which is introduced when Kerry has to go to school for the first time. He's a really good character. At first he's just a normal character who you can't help but love him, and then there's something that's revealed about him and you're like, whoa, how did I not guess that? And it's really good. So Ryan's an amazing character too. Kerry and Janessa's stepmom, whose name is Melissa, is also an amazing character. She's just such a warm, she's so nice, and she just is like a perfect mum in my opinion, and oh, she's just so amazing. And also the dog, I forget the dog's name, but there's a dog in this book, and Nessa gets really attached to this dog, and it comes into the end of the story so much. And this dog, like, without the dog, the story wouldn't even have worked. Like, I'm not even joking. Without this dog, the story would not have worked. So, the dog is important. I forget his name, unfortunately, but he's important. So the main reasons why I like this book so much is, like I said, the character development, but also there's this thing where they Carrie refers to beans a lot in this book because they used to eat beans a lot when they were in the woods, and she prays to St. Joseph sometimes, and when she does pray to St. Joseph, she says something along the lines of, in beans' name, amen, and it's really funny, and like, she just makes all these references to beans and you're like, why? And it's really funny and I love it. Another reason why I loved it so much is the mystery and the suspense of why Janessa can't speak. That's basically what kept me reading it. I read it pretty quickly because I wanted to know why Janessa couldn't speak, and trust me, you'll fly through this because of that suspense aspect. I promise you'll fly through it just because of that. You're like, what is it? What is it? The only thing I can think of that I didn't like about this book is that I would have liked to have found out what actually happened to Carrie and Janessa's mum, because she kind of just disappears and then the two girls are found in the woods and then we never find out what actually happened to the mum. We don't know where she is, what happened. We find out things about her mum, like, from the past, but we don't find out what actually happened to her. So I would have liked to have found out, but still, that's like the minorest thing that could have been fixed, but it was still the most amazing book ever. The last thing I'm going to say before I get into the spoilery section is that if you do want to read this book, I have to warn you that it is really confronting and it explores some sexual abuse as well as physical abuse. That's not really a spoiler. I just think that even though this is labelled as a YA book, that you should at least be like a mature 14-year-old to read this book, and if you read it you'll probably agree with me. It is like a really amazing book, and it's confronting, but it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. So that's all for the non-spoiler people. If you have not yet read, if you find me, I would suggest reading it and then coming back and discussing a little bit with us. I really would suggest reading it because it's an amazing book and it's really short as well, so you'll fly through it and it's amazing. It's whoa. So bye for now if you have not yet read If You Find Me, and I will see you later. So now I'm going to get into some spoilers. I'm basically going to talk about two things. One, the party scene, and two, the ending. The party scene. That party scene was like the most intense scene of the book except for the ending. But that was such an important scene in the book, and like how she found Delaney upstairs, and it's just because of what went on in the woods before, like in the past, with how she men paid her mum to, I don't think they had sex with her, but I think I'm not sure what they did, but they never break and entered. Like in the book they say something about the mum charged like 100 for breaking and entering, and then she's like, luckily none of the men had $100, so I'm assuming that never happened. But then when she walks in on Delaney, she can't understand that sex can be for enjoyment, and that like broke my heart. It like shattered it. That was so sad for me. I don't know why, but it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then there's of course the whole Ryan thing, which made the party scene so happy, as well as like really confronting with the Delaney thing. But with Ryan, it would have seemed like insta love. Like if they had have like fallen in love right then and there, I would have been like, whoa, insta love, but not really, because it still was quite a while that they knew each other. But then there was that thing where they had known each other since they were children, and I was like, that is genius. That is a genius way to make it so much more good that they finally get together, and yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the ending. What did you guys think was going to happen at the end? What did you think the White Star Night was? Because I was guessing what it was. At first I thought it had something to do with fire, just because of they had burns on their backs, which I still don't really know why they had burns on their backs, come to think of it. That's weird. But then, as it went on, like, you could kind of tell that Kerry had killed someone because someone asked her, have you ever had to use your gun? And then she didn't really answer, so I assumed that that's one of the things that happened. And then I actually guessed that it was because someone tried to rape her sister. I'm not joking, I guessed that. I guessed that someone tried to rape her sister, and therefore Kerry shot the person. I knew that. But the thing that came as the most shock to me was that the guy that raped Kerry and tried to rape her sister and Kerry killed was Janessa's dad, and that Janessa's never going to find out about this and no one knows about it. That shocked me so much. And she said something about, like, I'll carry that secret to the grave, and it's like that's the one thing that she can never tell anyone. She's like told people about the whole White Star Night, like she told her dad. She just can't let go of the part about it being Nessa's dad, and that ending. That's some ending. Like, wow. So that's all I had to say for If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!